Here now with Grandview head football coach Mike Woodley. The contest Saturday at number 2 Marian. Mike, before we get to the Knights, let's look back Saturday to Trinity International. The offense did just enough to get the win. A couple of touchdown passes from Derek Fulton. How about your overall impressions of the freshman in his first start?
Well, he was really did a good job, Jeff. He really exceeded our expectations. We think he's going to be a good quarterback. Dorian Ballantyne is still our number 1 quarterback, but I was really proud of Derek and how he responded, threw the ball well, made one really good throw down there where he had to scramble out and threw the touchdown pass to Taylor Goebel, and we like everything we see about him. He still needs some more experience, and he's going to be a pretty good quarterback.
How about the read he made to Darius White on the 44-yarder?
Well, the thing I liked about that is he stayed in the pocket long enough to let that play develop, stepped up in there and delivered a strike, and that was about as good as you can throw the football right there, Jeff. That was an outstanding throw and a great catch. Darius better caught it because it was right on his numbers, and obviously the result was a touchdown.
How about your evaluation in the running back position?
Well, we know we're going to do it by committee, which we've always tried to do here. You know, in the past we had Darryl Ford and Dante, who was with us last year, and Lawrence Taylor. And, you know, it's hard to go through a season and take every carry. And this year it just seems like we got about 3 of them that are pretty equal. Charles is probably a little bit better blocker than Jared and Garrett. And he showed that he could run the football too on Saturday. I was really proud of Charles, and I was proud of all 3 of them. And hopefully we can get our offensive line in more of a groove like they were Saturday, and pick up some blocks so that these kids can get some yardage and obviously open up our passing game a little bit, which I think happened on Saturday.
How about the evaluation of the defense the last 2 weeks, back-to-back between Olivet Nazarene and Trinity? Pretty darn good defensive job, I think.
Well, you know, I even thought we did a better job this past Saturday against Trinity, even though I knew Olivet Nazarene was a little bit better offensive football team. You know, and we only gave up, we didn't give up any touchdowns in that Olivet game. And this past week we gave up a touchdown, but we also gave up that second touchdown was a result of a poor play on our punt return team where they got the ball inside the 3. So. Our defense is always going to bend a little bit because of our philosophy. We're not a big blitzing team, and we do use a lot of movement, but we don't blitz a lot. So we're trying to get 4-man pressure, and we are going to bend a little bit, and we have shown that we have bent maybe a little bit more than we want. But when it's time to bow their bag and keep people out of the end zone, our defense has really done a good job as far as the amount of points that they have actually given up.
About evaluation of your special teams play, we'll start with Zach Ansel. I think Zach has been very solid this year in the punt game.
He has. You know, it's a darn shame his last punt there in the game on Saturday where he completely missed the ball. But every other punt we've had this year, he's done a great job. Our punt team and our punt coverage, we haven't given up any yardage, you know, with any return yardage on punts, and that's a result of Zach placing the ball down there, doing a good job, not out kicking his coverage, even though he had that 80-yarder over at Olivet Nazarene. But you know, he's done a very nice job, and I expect that out of him. He's a 3rd-year guy now. He's been doing it for 3 years, and we should expect good punting out of Zach.
Okay, so you stand 3-1 after 4 games. I think if you were to ask a lot of Grandview fans, that'd be a pretty safe bet to be at this point right now with the Drake game in hand, not favored in that game. So now you go to Marian, and a team that's, we all know the history between Grandview and Marian, 0-5 all time. And I guess the encouraging thing last year, despite the playoff game, and that wasn't very fun, but here in the regular season, Grandview was the first team to score points on them offensively, on their defense.
Yeah, well, they have. And they have had. They've always traditionally, you know, in our 5 years playing them, outstanding defensive personnel. And it's like hitting your head against the wall sometimes, you know, when you're playing against them, Jeff. And I don't see any crack in that armor right now after watching tape all weekend on this team. And there's a reason they're number 2 in the country and probably could be number 1. But their defense is always they're gonna play. They were number 1 in the country in every category a year ago, I believe. And you know, and then on top of that, that defense, they got a heck of an offense to go with it.
Well, in the offense, Adam Weezy, the quarterback, and Tevin Lake, he's just a sophomore, but we saw both those guys last year.
You know, and that was the thing about the early part of last year when we played them at home. They were still trying to find themselves a little bit offensively. And shortly after our game, they kind of figured some things out and really became a good offensive football team last year, you know, after our game. And they are explosive. They got a great receiver out there. They've got 2 really good running backs, Lake and number 25, and his name escapes me right now. But they've got the whole ball of wax. I mean, they got the whole package, both sides of the football, and there is a reason they're ranked as high as they are. They're a good football team, you know, we know what we're up against. You know, we've played them enough, and we played in their new stadium enough, and we're going to be their homecoming again this year, and so it'll make for an exciting day out there. At least the atmosphere is going to be great for our kids.
And their offense is pretty balanced. I mean, 220 averaging on the pass and 160 on the rush, almost 400 yards of offense a game. That's pretty balanced offense they have there too.
Well, that's what they do. You know, that's what we try to do. You know, we'd like to be balanced, take advantage of the defense when we have to throw it, and be able to run it when we can run it. And obviously, they've done a much better job than most teams in the country because they're always ranked up there in the top, and they don't turn the ball over very much. They take care of the football pretty well.
Before we wrap up the interview, how about a comment on the offensive line play this year? I mean, replacing 5 new guys, senior-laden offensive line. In your opinion, how's the offensive line come so far?
Well, I tell you, Jeff, they've come along kind of like we thought they would. You know, we've had some growing pains there in the first couple games, and you know, and it's hard to even blame them for some of the things because we've turned the ball over. And you can sit here and point fingers, which we don't do around here, but I think our offensive line has improved a little bit every week. And I thought last weekend they really came out and run blocked really well, and they protected our quarterback pretty darn well too. So I think they've made their maturation level is increasing week by week.
All right, Mike, well, good luck at Marian, and we'll see you after the game.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Grandview head football coach Mike Woodley.